Donald Trump recently ended Obamacare's cost-sharing reduction payments, or CSR payments. These were payments that the federal government paid to insurance agencies in order to help reduce the cost of premiums to people purchasing insurance from these insurance agencies. With Trump taking this action, it is worth taking a look at it, why he did it, and what benefits and downsides will come from taking this action. So when you're looking at the effects that this would provide, when you're looking at the actual policy effects of this move, in terms of what it would do to our healthcare markets and how it would affect people who are trying to get healthcare now, there are basically no pros and quite a lot of cons. Estimates by the CBO say that it increased prices by an additional 20% over what the premiums were already supposed to be just next year, and more than 25% over what the premium increases would already be by 2020. Additionally, the federal deficit would actually increase overall because of the effect that this would have on the tax credits people receive for healthcare also through Obamacare, likely increasing this more than enough to offset the CSR payments. And it's likely that some insurers would pull out of the Obamacare markets. One of the biggest problems with Obamacare has been there are a number of markets with very few choices, in some cases only one company, and in very few cases no companies providing insurance through the exchange. And this move would only increase that, though it's not expected to be enough for the exchanges to completely collapse. Only around 5% of the population would be in areas with no access to healthcare through the exchanges, but this is up way more from what it would be without this move. So given that it seems to be such a bad policy move, why would Trump take this action? The only pro for Trump that he gets out of this is that it's a political tool he can use to negotiate with the Democrats and try and get them to come to the table and reach some sort of bipartisan deal on something. And this could work. However, there are a couple of problems with that move for Trump. The first being that he doesn't seem to have a clear plan of what he's trying to do. If he's trying to push for a bipartisan reform to Obamacare and wants to encourage both Republicans and Democrats to support the process and the bill that Patty Murray and Lamar Alexander are currently working on in the Senate, that could be a workable plan. However, it's not entirely clear what he is trying to do with this, and he hasn't outlined a more long-term political strategy around this as of yet. But the other biggest problem is it's very likely, from initial impressions of the media and polling data, that Trump will now be blamed for the failure of our healthcare system as he's made such radical changes. And so if Democrats don't go along with a legislative reform that Trump and Republicans are pushing, and he fails to make any other changes to the way our health insurance system works, Trump is very likely going to suffer the political consequences of people having to pay higher premiums and losing access to insurance. Additionally, because he's taking this move now, Republicans no longer have the ability to pass a healthcare reform plan through the Senate with just 50 votes through the reconciliation process. So this move cannot be used to force through a full repeal of Obamacare because that deadline has already expired. On the whole, this move threatens to do a lot of damage to the way our healthcare system currently works, and it's not clear that it will pay off politically for Donald Trump or that it will result in any major policy changes, especially policy changes to healthcare law that Donald Trump and Republicans find favorable. But let us know what you think about this move, and whether you think Donald Trump has a good political strategy that he's working at with this, or is simply trying to take a swing at something Barack Obama put into place. And like and subscribe to learn more.